Hello, everyone. Uh, a very warm welcome for this advanced IPR training session for the faculties of Indian academic institutions. This is an initiative by Patlex Business Solutions. We have been working with a lot of academic institutions in India, especially for the IPR related activities. This initiative is to build that ecosystem, which would help the academic institution not only to create IP but to protect it effectively. Actually, there have been a lot of IPR awareness programs that are happening all across India by different agencies, as well as the private, I would say, the parties or the firms or patent agents like me. We have been involved into a lot of IPR training or awareness sessions. But in this series of sessions, what I would be covering is the ground reality of Indian academic institutions with respect to IPR filings as well as commercialization. This is based on my experience in, I would say, last 5 years working with academic institutions, both for IPR awareness as well as the IPR filings as well. During this time, of course, all because of a lot of policies by government of India as well as the NIRF rankings or NAC or NBA kind of accreditations, there have been huge increase in the number of IPR filings. But where are we headed to, and how significant it is in terms of the growth of an institution and India as a ecosystem, the IP ecosystem in India, basically. So we'll be checking this through some very interesting, I would say, unique sessions on IPR, and I have chosen these topics which are, I would say, really relevant for the Indian academic institutions. And today I'm going to speak on German patents, a reality check for the Indian academic institutions. uh, uh, of someone, few days back called me up, and I had a unique conversation with this particular person. He mentioned it that, so this is how the conversation went actually, and that prompted me to come up with this particular session. The conversation was, "Hi Vijay, I was, when I got a call from a professor of a, I would say, one of the biggest universities in India, and he called. Of course, I understood it was for the IP inquiry, actually, just not to disclose. So I was very happy, and that's how, the emoji gives that idea, basically, to you. Uh, the just to hide, not to reveal the identity of the professor or the university, I have used these names which we are very much aware of. So the conversation was, "Hi Vijay, this is Professor Shahrukh Khan calling from Yashraj University, and I got your number reference from Kajol, who is a student at Dharma Productions University. And this call, so I was a bit interested in the call. I wanted to understand what is the requirement, because this was a potential business client for me, and I may get some patent filing related activities. The question that was asked to me is, "We want to file a patent in Germany. Can you do that for us?" And then that was a bit of a surprise for me. Why is a professor from an Indian university asking to file a patent in Germany? And so what may be the intent or rationale? Rather, whenever any client comes to us, academic client comes to us, the very first question that we ask to client is, "What is the intent to file a patent application? Why do you want to do that?" Exactly same thing, was in my mind. And I mentioned, "Sorry sir, I'm an Indian patent agent, and we don't provide offer these services for German patent filing or prosecution. Then, out of curiosity, I asked him, why Germany only, and why do you want to file a patent in Germany and not in India? He mentioned me that he is filing a patent. He's not filing a patent in India, but he's filing in Germany, and that's where the thought process came. uh, like you know uh, we have been working in the with the Indian patents, basically at the Indian patent office, with 250 plus applications filed now in last 5 years. 23 patents are granted, 14 PCTs filed. We have got 3 US patents and 1 Canadian patent application as well filed recently for one of our clients. We are connected with a lot of pharma colleges, the biotech, the science, engineering institution. We are connected with 5 government universities with which we are doing all these IPR filings actually. But then, why German patent? And out of curiosity, I tried to deep dive what is the reason the client is asking for German patent. And this is something that I realized through that entire conversation, post conversation analysis. I'll be covering that German patent part actually in this particular session. As you can see, this is a wonderful image coming from Economic Times. The image source is provided. It's a rat race, unfortunately, in last few years, I would say, maybe thanks to NAC, NBA, NRF rankings, actually, I would say. But then there is a big rat race happening out, and this rat race, as someone whom I really adore as a I would say as a character, and that is mentioned in all my sessions as well. Funsu Pangdu, as he said, don't run after. I mean, like, you don't need to go into that rat race. Actually, you have to be innovative, and that's where the IP part comes into play. What is this rat race for? It's about the numbers of IPRs filed, and and is it creating value? Let us try to understand actually. And through this rat race, actually, everyone is running for the so-called German patents and registering the German patents. Now, why Germany? Why German patents? Before that, let us try to understand. And this of course, is a question I had my in my many of my physical sessions as well. How many patents did Rancho Das Shamal Das Chanchad have actually, or how many patents did Fonsuk Wangdu have? It's all about the numbers game actually. And when I see that Indian academic institutions, unfortunately, it reflects that with respect to the rat race and the numbers game with respect to the patent filings and the grants. And when there is a rat race, people try to identify the what. That's why that's typical, I would say, for us as a culture, I would say, or as a society, we try to identify the easiest ways. And what are the easiest ways? And in terms of patent filing, kaise number badhana hai? That's how this German patent thing came into place. So then I checked on social media, a lot of messages in last 1 year. A German patent have been successfully registered by our faculty. Heartiest congratulations and all the best for next endeavors by the students and staff. Congratulations to all prominent pharma gurus for grant of German patent. Congratulations to the team of researchers for getting German patent. Happy to share with you my international German patent is granted. A big congratulations to the team for the great achievements. I'll tell you what great achievements have you actually got through this entire process. I'm happy to announce that The German utility model patent application number is now granted. I'm sharing the grant certificate received from German patent office for your ready reference. I was so happy. So much of research is happening in Indian academic institutions, giving it global recognition by the German patent office and the patents. I know how difficult it is to get a patent granted in India. When I saw so many patents granted in Germany, I was so happy. But then a question came to my mind: what is it? What is it that these institutions are not filing in India and are filing directly in Germany? Now, just I tried to deep dive and I realized some common trends in that. So this is one of those so-called German patents. Why I'm kind of using the term so-called German patents? Because these are not patents, firstly. The so-called German patents have one common thread, and that common thread is the inventors are from different institutions. They are not only from different institutions, they are also from different states. So for one invention, I have removed the names, but we have their locations. So there is one invention for which 6 institutes from different parts of India, Jharkhand, Haryana, UP, Kerala, Uttarakhand, and Maharashtra have collaborated. The faculties or students from these institutes have collaborated to get a German patent granted. Wow, what an achievement! Right now, I just tried because unfortunately, one of these institutions was my client, for which we had filed an Indian application few years back. I tried to get in touch with them. I tried to ask them how they are filing this and what is that is actually getting granted. So these are, and then when I saw all these German patents, this is a one common thread in all these inventions. No denial for the collaborations, but then one point that needs to be understood here, or that was observed, is that all these inventors probably they don't know each other. They have never visited someone, or they have never been on a common platform ever to come up with this kind of research actually, right? And then came the so-called the grant certificate, patent grant certificate. We also share the patent Indian patent grant certificate for the when the patent gets granted. And this is how that language, of course it's in German, no one understands German, probably no one tried to, those who are filing, or those who are or the applicants or inventors for which the patents are, the so-called German patents are getting granted, I tried to translate this, and what I observed is this: how it is translated is, it is Federal Republic of Germany certificate about the registration of utility model number. And I'm pretty confident that all these inventors or applicants who are like doing those great research, great achievement of global patenting, they don't know what do you mean by utility model. And firstly, that's the reason I was using this term so called patent. My dear friends, ये patent नहीं है. This is a utility model. And what is a utility model? I'll try to explain you how is it different, why this may not, what is the value that is getting added, and why this may not be the thing that you should go for if you have got a good invention. When so in the last 5 years we have been, when I started my career 5 years back as a practitioner, that point of time we were working with, I would say, third, fourth tier institutions from rural areas for identifying the inventions, filing the patent. Fortunately, this year we have been working with global players as well as the tier one institutes all across India as well. When I meet these professors at the so-called big institutions, the HODs, the real researchers, they never filed the patent in Germany, the so-called. They didn't know about utility model. They never thought that need to go for that actually. Then why is this sudden rush for the so-called German patents, which are actually the utility models? Firstly, as I said, ये patent नहीं है. Don't call this patent. It's not a patent. It's a utility model. And how is utility model helpful for an academic institution? That also I'll tell. Why to do this, why to not do this, that also I'll try to tell in this particular session. Okay, what is a utility model basically? Firstly, as I said, utility model is not a patent. These are new technical inventions, but but these are not patents. A utility model obtains the exclusive right for a limited period of time, 6 to 10 years from the date of filing. तो इससे डिफरेंस क्या है? इंडिया में है क्या यूटिलिटी मॉडल? नो, देयर इज नथिंग similar to utility model in India actually, like so we don't have this. This is a second tier protection. This is not patent. This is not patent. This is a second tier protection for the technical inventions. Okay, that's the reason. What your certificate you get, it's never about patent. Don't call it patent. Okay, it's a utility model. Now, as I said, it's for the lesser amount of time. But then what is the difference between a patent and utility model? When should I go for a patent? When should I go for a utility model? If you have a real research, go for patents. If you just want the numbers और rat race में भाग रहे हो ना, go for the utility models. Why? I'll tell you the actual reasons. Firstly, the requirements for utility models are less stringent than patents. Practically क्या होता है? What happens practically is the utility models are granted easily because there may not be examination at all. No substantive examination. This is one big difference basically. Incremental innovations, just for example, typically in pharmaceutical cases, which I belong to, the technical area I belong to basically, in pharmaceutical cases, if a product is already known, you just make minor improvement, then go for utility model. And so that's what we call incremental innovation. If you really have a research, don't kill your invention by filing a utility model. Secondly, the term is shorter. And thirdly, the patent offices do not examine utility model applications. The utility model applications are never examined. This means the registration process is simpler, faster. I got someone telling me 3 महीने में patent grant हो गया मेरा जर्मनी में. Why should I file in India? आपका इंडिया में पेटेंट ग्रांट हो रहा है, जर्मनी में यूटिलिटी मॉडल रजिस्ट्रेशन हो रहा है. इट्स नॉट अ पेटेंट एट ऑल. ओनली थिंग इज वो जर्मन पेटेंट ऑफिस, आईपी ऑफिस से आपको सर्टिफिकेट मिल रहा है. That's the reason you can't call it actually a German patent. Fees काफी cheap है, rather 30-40 euros. That's the filing fees actually, 40 euro. यहाँ पे in the Indian scenario, filing of an Indian patent, actually recently the fees have been reduced to just 1600 rupees from 8000 for e-filing for academic institutions since September 2021. These are very cheap. The utility models are very cheap compared to the patents basically. In some countries, specific एरियाज में ही यूटिलिटी मॉडल्स अलाउ होते हैं. Now, why is everyone going for utility model and why Germany only? Firstly, वहां पे एग्जामिनेशन नहीं होता है, वेरी लो कॉस्ट, एग्जाम ही नहीं है तो कॉस्टिंग, ऑफिशियल कॉस्टिंग एज वेल एज द अटॉर्नी कॉस्टिंग, बोथ ऑफ देम वुड बी वेरी लेस, एज वेल एज एक बहुत बड़ा डिफरेंस है पेटेंट और यूटिलिटी मॉडल में. अब जर्मन पेटेंट ले लीजिए, you get a German patent granted for sure. Now the novelty part for any patent is global novelty. The novelty is global novelty for a patent. For an utility model, these are local novelty. So it's not a, so we call it as a relative novelty, not an absolute novelty. Means what? Agar if there is no disclosure of a specific invention or IP filed in Germany for an invention, कोई import करके भी उसको file कर सकता है utility model. You can get it easily. But for German patent, it's not possible because again, the TRIPS mandates it, every patent office, to grant a patent based on absolute novelty. These are utility models, not the patents. Don't call them patents. आप फाइल कर रहे हो for the rat race, for the numbers is absolutely fine. Don't kill the innovation ecosystem that we have got fortunately in last few years just for the sake of your rat race and your numbers, right? So even Germany has a specific section which makes it only written publications as prior art. Means someone has worked that product earlier, it is not a prior art actually. That is the differentiating factor for a utility model. That's the reason utility model get very easily granted, and that's the reason everyone is running after the so-called German patent. These are not German patent. Let me tell you the practical applications of this entire process that is happening out actually. First, why are the applications filed only in Germany? Can you answer this question? Can someone answer this question in the chat box, like, or the comments box actually? One thing you need to remember, that, and this happened with one of my recent meetings actually, like, wherein I was a stakeholder for an NB accreditation. Fortunately, the NB accreditation committee chairman was smart enough. So there was this one faculty who mentioned, I have got 2 German patents granted. The NBA committee asked, why did you file in Germany, or rather only in Germany? What is the rationale? Is there an answer to this? There is no answer to this actually. The faculty couldn't answer this. Okay, why are you filing? Because there is a way किसी ने ये create किया है. And of course we'll be speaking about Australian innovation patent later in some other session, but आज के लिए let us restrict our discussion for German. So firstly, these are not patents, these are utility models. Don't call it utility model patent application number. Not at all. Not at all. Now, another thing, if your invention is carried out in India, why is the invention not filed in India? Do you know that if you have to file any invention outside India as a patent, you need a permission from Indian Patent Office. Without that permission, you cannot do it. If your invention is carried out in India and if you are filing a patent outside India, I'm not speaking about utility model, speaking about the patent outside India, you need a permission from Indian Patent Office actually. There is a specific section and clause and a form for that actually at the Indian Patent Office. If you are not filing in India, filing outside India, you need to have a permission from the Indian Patent Office. Next, why are you filing in Germany? Are you commercializing the invention in Germany? What is the rationale? Why? What is the answer to file only in Germany? And the simple answer to this, the way Ponsuk Wangdo mentions is the rat race that is happening for the numbers game. Actually, the numbers game is the key here. My suggestion here, and at least those who are actually involved into research, those who are least bothered about the numbers but the quality, go for patents actually, not for the utility models. Utility models are helpful for incremental innovations and not for the actual inventions. NAC, NBA, NIRF rankings. For that, if you are doing, remember one thing: these are utility models, not patents. Putting them, probably, I don't know how the system is working currently for NAC, NB, or NIRF rankings, but then I'm pretty confident once this message is delivered to everyone that these are not patents, these are incremental innovations. There is no examination happening for these applications. That point of time, probably all these agencies, accreditation agencies, accept your may not accept, this is a hypothetical statement, but remember, in the long run, it's not gonna help you actually, but like I would say, if you really want to strive into through your, like, career, and if you want to succeed, that point of time, these things, these numbers game are not going to help us access. So this is from my end for the so-called German patents, which are actually utility models. And I would join you very soon for another interesting session as a part of this advanced IPR training session for the faculties of Indian academic institutions. Till that time, take care, and you can put your comments. You can put your comments on the YouTube channel. You can reach to me via these phone numbers as well. Just as a last, I would say, a word from my end. I dedicate this session especially to my mentor who has been there, helping for helping me throughout my career actually, and आज जो भी मैं हूँ is all because of the mentor. And I think this entire series, I would say, sessions, I'm dedicating to my mentor. Take care.